What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJ's Here channel dedicated to Juventus. We go into today with maximum intentions as Spalletti debuts, and we'll talk about the vibes around his unveiling. And it's a birthday. Happy 128th to Juventus. All right, the club that is the best damn club in the world, the club of legends, the club of dynasties, and the club that gave us many memories that will never fade. And hopefully we are going to be blessed with many more wonderful memories. Auguri, Juventus. Everybody, it's time to rock. It's match day. We got Cremonese and Juventus set to go at it, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about the build-up in this one. Got Paolo, got Cliff with me. Fellas, how are you doing today? Cliff, what's up, man? Obviously coming to us while traveling, all right, but great to see you. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we are in Boston this weekend. Changed up the vibes a little bit. I don't look like I'm in a hostage video today. Um, so be hanging out with the Boston club, the Juve Boston club this weekend today for the match. So super excited for that.
Hey, Juve Boston Club. I wonder if Tuna's Take's going to be out there. Are you going to be out there, Tuna? Let us know. And Paolo, how you doing, man? Looking kind of like the Bomber or the Jazz Man. Are you a Scat Man today? Are you the Bomber? Like, what's going on today, Paolo?
Good morning, gentlemen. I had about 5 million beers yesterday watching my poor Jays, but I'm feeling pretty good. These are prescription, and
5 million beers. Good. Yeah, you would be feeling pretty good. Yeah. Still, I like it. I like it.
And cannelloni is not the problem.
Tell Trimbley that, because I'm with you. I'm with you. Now,
you know what you're
and
doing.
Of course, David, say happy birthday to us all, enjoying Juve's 128th birthday, and we get to do so with a new man at the helm, and that is Luciano Spalletti. So, we get the presser, we get some words from Camoli, we get some words from Spalletti, and we're going to talk about the vibes you've got about this guy coming in now. All right, so Cliff, why don't you kick us off with your feelings, your thoughts on Spalletti in the unveiling, his words, and how you feeling about this thing?
Well, it's funny because we had talked about this on our show after that really poor match last weekend against Lazio, and we did say, like, I think it's time for a change, and then yeah, cannelloni is the problem.
No.
But yeah, so we talked about how, the manager change could be happening very soon after that match, and then it did. I'm gonna back the mister. No matter what happens, like, he's our manager now, and that's kind of all that really matters. We're gonna move forward with him, see what ideas he could bring to the table, what kind of personality he could bring to the locker room, and I think he is up to the task. I know a bunch of Napoli fans are crying about it, but you didn't see us crying about Conte going to Inter or Napoli as much, so. We're just going to focus on what we can do and what we can control. So I'm excited to see what he can do with our team. And I think he's a level-headed manager to kind of ease the ship, calm the ship at this point in time.
If we worried about every time Napoli cried, we'd be doing a lot of worrying, okay? Most sensitive fan base on the goddamn planet, all right? Now, it is Juve's 128th birthday, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet and positive when I talk about Spalletti's unveiling and everything. Absolutely loved the fact that he comes in here, and it would be really easy, super easy to just come in and say, yeah, you know what, one game at a time, let's try and just hit top four, let's keep Champions League rolling and stuff. But he says, no, I'm coming in here maximum intentions. Why not? Why should we not talk about getting back in the Scudetto race? 9 games in, 29 left to play, 6 points out of top. Why not? Why should we be satisfied at the bare minimum? I like it. I like it. Bravo. Bravo. Well done. And Spalletti, it wouldn't be Spalletti if he didn't give us some classic Spalletti stuff. We must always let the sound of the ball rolling on the grass be the message we want to send. If the ball, as it slides on the grass, slides at that speed and the fans hear the noise from the stands, that is the correct way to speak. Buddy, just tell me you're going to let the game do the talking. Like, this guy, I don't know who he thinks he is, but you know what? Bravo on the maximum intentions, but that is Spalletti in a nutshell. Get ready for it, because shit like that ain't gonna stop. But big credit from me for the maximum intention statement. I like that, and I'll give him that. Paolo, your thoughts, your vibes on the unveiling and moving forward with Spalletti?
Well, I think he's got more experience than Tudor. I hope whatever he brings translates to these players on the pitch and produces better results and a consistent, cohesive game plan. He talked about the individuals not being as important as the collective, so I think that's fine. And then he mentioned he would love to have had Coop and tried to get Coop earlier, but he's too expensive. And then he talked about Dusan having a great game. So then he talked about individuals. So we'll see what he does with the squad he has, and we'll see how they react and how they listen to him. It's a short period of time, but he's our coach. I support him. I want us to win. I want us to do well, and he's lucky to be our manager, and hopefully we're lucky to have him.
There you go. You know what? This could be exactly what Juve and Spalletti both need. They need each other, to be honest. So it could be really, really good. I mean, he needs to pick things up after what went down with the Azzurri. Juve needs to start getting things right and needs to hit. So let's hope that's the same. And the last time, a lot of people have mentioned this, and David Damadzian, who is with us here in the chat, was the first to say so in the AJC Army chat, but he says it's got a lot of similar vibes to when Max Allegri came in, and a lot of the fan base did not want Massimiliano coming in, and it ended up very, very well. Tenure 1, everybody. Tenure 1, Max. Not tenure 2, tenure 1. Okay? But a lot of similar vibes. Maybe, just maybe, it goes the same way. Let's hope it does. All right? But Spalletti, he is in. In terms of Comolli coming in there with a few words leading into this and stating that with Tudor, it was results. Had to stop the negative cycle, but he made a crazy claim saying we wouldn't win again if we stayed the same. Wow. Okay, take it easy, man. A little trying to create some intense situation like that. We would never win a game there again, but nonetheless, he made his decision, stood by it. He wasted no time, though, in brushing off any talk about any new signings having any issues whatsoever. It was just like, no, not worried about it. They will be just fine, and boom, shut it down immediately. Not opening up just any opportunity to be like, yeah, you know, not even like, hey, these guys need to step it up, or yeah, we'd like to see these guys. Just boom, shut it down immediately. Paolo, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I caught that as well. He basically said his signings they're excited about the signings. They're going to do well. They're great players. Give them a year and a half or whatever he said to judge them. So he's reaffirmed his choices to us, which is great for him. And he also suggested that, or he failed to suggest there'd be any additions. So we'll see how both those things pan out. We do need help in January potentially, and we'll see how his additions play out. But
and we got some fun news. Speaking of additions, we got some fun news that we'll pull up before we preview this game and everything. So some interesting stuff to look at. Cliff, what do you think about Comolli? Just quickly sweeping that question under the rug and moving on.
Yeah, to what Pablo said, going off of that, I feel like it was kind of an ego pat in the back from Comolli. It wasn't really addressing like the issues that we've seen with our transfers in recent seasons. But I mean, you know, he says what he thinks he needs to say to kind of keep the flames down, keep the fans at bay, and not to keep chirping at him for the decisions they've made. So, I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I don't really care. I just want to see the performances speak for themselves. I want to see these players continue to improve. Like Coop Miners, I think we kind of see what he is, and we just kind of have to hope that Spalletti can get the best out of him, whatever that is.
Yeah, and Spalletti talked a bit about Cope Miners, and it sounds once again like we will have, opportunity 18th for a relaunch on Cope Miners here. So, hey, man, like I said, you're running out of launches. The next one's going to be to the moon, brother. So hopefully he gets it right. Maybe Spalletti can do something there, but maybe Spalletti, it's not just Cope Miners. Like, he's got a few guys that he needs to sort things out with, and we'll look at the projected lineup for this game when we get to it. Now, speaking of Comoli, I did give him credit for making the move and making the move fast with Tudor. That's one thing. We'll obviously be grateful for Tudor coming in when he did, giving us Champions League football, which wasn't a guarantee, and getting that objective done. But the way things were going, we all knew something had to change. And obviously the players, they share the blame, but you've got to do something. You got to spark it. Credit to Comoli to acting. Now he's in the works of completing the management team. We have Modesto there. We have Comoli there. You have Chiellini playing a part, and he's going to be stepping into the counselor role for us. And now apparently Ottolini will be the one stepping in as sporting director, and he has parted ways with Genoa. Genoa making a lot of changes. I didn't even actually realize that Vieira, I believe, has been sacked by Genoa as well. So they're making changes there. But Ottolini set to come in. Meetings were supposed to go down yesterday. He's probably going to be announced at some point this week coming up. Well, a lot of fans saying only Juve would hire a coach before a sporting director. But here's the thing, everybody, and I've been telling you dating back to this summer when you said, how are we going to sign players? We don't have a sporting director. Guys, it's Comoli's world. We're living in it. It's Comoli's show. It's been evident and apparent since day one. They will discuss things as a group and they'll act as a group. But it's his show. And I think it's pretty clear. So, personally, it didn't bother me to hear Spalletti hired before you even have a sporting director, because it doesn't matter. This sporting director is not coming in to the world Giuntoli came into, where he was at the top of the hill and he had no support around him. It's you, man, because your team is Scanavino, Ferraro, okay, and Elkan. Well, this is a different world now because it's Comoli, Modesto, Chiellini, and it's soon to be Ottolini by the sounds of it. But it's Comoli's show. So I personally wasn't bothered by it. Paolo, were you bothered by the fact we hired Spalletti? We don't have a sporting director? It means nothing to me.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. Comoli made it clear when he got here that he wanted to be in charge. He's very arrogant. I hope he's right in whatever he does, because now there's more witnesses to anything that he doesn't do well, at least. And I think if you're growing the team, I'm behind that. I'd like a stronger team. I like a group decision. In the end, it's going to be his decision probably, but at least there's more witnesses if it goes wrong.
And at least there is a group to kind of sort things out that doesn't involve really Scanavino, Ferraro, or Elkan in the footballing matters. So at least it's a team that, like, no matter if you're on the side that's a little skeptical of Comoli or if you're on the side that's fully with him, you still needed something like this to kind of go down. That's football minds, at least, or guys that been around. Because the last group literally had only Giuntoli. So this is good. It's gotta be a better route than what we were doing before. So I'm going to give them that wholeheartedly. And let's hope that it hits and that the decisions they make are the correct ones and go. Cliff, were you feeling a certain way about Spalletti being named before a director?
Honestly, no. I agree with you. I think if you look at it from the outside looking in, Clearly, I think the most dire thing was a new manager. I think that was the thing that clearly needed to be addressed first. That was the immediate problem. You could see there is quality on this team. It's just getting the most out of those players, and I think that was why the Spalletti decision needed to happen ASAP. The new managing decision needed to happen ASAP for anything else. And then obviously we're not even at like the transfer window where we actually need the sporting director to come in and be making those decisions yet. So I think Spalletti coming in first and then Ottolini to follow. I don't have any issues with that because, like I said, I think it was clear that a managerial change was much more direly needed than a management change.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we move on, one thing that was also mentioned by Camoli that I actually liked, and I said I'm going to keep it positive with the Spalletti thing and everything. There is nothing beyond the end of the season that is already agreed upon or part of this deal. It is literally end of the season. The only thing that's there for the end is the discussion about continuing. That seems that what they've said is the only thing promised. I like that. Because I said, leave your options in your own hands if you are Juventus going into the summer because you don't know what could happen. And I think top 4 is such a bare bones objective in this Serie A that we are barely out of right now, despite being a disaster for the past month. So I really, really like that. That's another check for me on the right side of things for Juve. Guys agree or disagree? Because some say, well, that's just showing zero faith in Spalletti. When I don't care. I think if you're Juve at this point, you have to keep your options open. Do you guys agree?
1,000% agree. You can't lock yourself into a manager when you haven't seen what he could do with the team yet. You need to, like you said, Al, you need to keep your options open because you don't know how this is going to go. So you can't guarantee this manager anything. You can't keep another manager on the books and be paying him when you're already paying Motta and you're already paying Tudor really high salaries. You just can't afford to make another mistake like that.
Yeah. There you go. And Paolo, do you agree?
I think I misunderstood that potentially if he made Champions League, he would have the option to activate the extension.
Nothing
in the presser, they didn't say that, but they didn't say that wasn't the case.
Camoli said that we have a deal for 8 months. It'll be to the end of the season. And then we have an agreement to sit down at the table.
But he didn't say that if you finish top 4, you don't get to activate that extension.
He didn't even say.
That was the rumor initially.
He didn't even, there was no mention of the rumor of top 4 and you're automatically, there was no discussion of that. So it's wide open according to those words, how I interpret what he said, which was we have an agreement to sit down about continuing and hopefully reaching a long-term project.
All right. Well, what I'm worried about is that still is there, but it wasn't said.
Yeah.
It was or wasn't. And I agree. I think it's great to think short-term. Spalletti did say, I wouldn't have made this deal if I didn't feel good about the team or something to that effect. So he's feeling positive. So that's a bonus. And if he does make top 4 and he does a good job with the squad, we see a football that we want to see, that we can enjoy and gets results, then maybe if he sticks around and Deschamps isn't knocking at the door, then maybe that's fine. So,
and let's, and again, we wait to see, but there was nothing posted either officially other than 8 month deal for Spalletti. So it looks exactly like how we'd want things. And one of the things that's come up on recent shows is Juve starting to deliver incentive based options and contracts and clauses for players. I don't mind that for the coaching role as well. So you know what? Good on him. Like I said, this could be the situation where despite some doubters out there and despite where you stand on Spalletti, this could be the perfect situation because he needs something to revive kind of the perception of him and his career and everything after the Azzurri fallout. And then Juve needs needs to start getting it right. So we've gone the experience route now. He's got the experience in Italian football and the way his teams played. These were the words from Camoli. The way his teams played. That was a big one that stuck out too, as on top of the experience. So are we now committing to trying to be a team that plays a certain way? Spalletti's teams have been known for offensive prowess. So is that part of this management's idea? We don't really know. And to be honest, if you think back to the summer, you could have pushed. You could have pushed for a coach that has that style of play. Spalletti, you could have approached. There's a lot of rumors. It's a lot of hoopla about Spalletti didn't want to go anywhere after the Azzurri, wanted to take his time. Whatever. You choose what you believe, right? But the fact of the matter is, if you're chasing that style of play and it's experience that you wanted, you wouldn't have backed Tudor in the summer. And you wouldn't have ended up at that option because there were other options that give you what you're looking for. So again, this is why I still have kind of this feeling where I'm a let's see with the management team and Camoli, etc. That's just one thing I picked up on. Okay, when he mentioned the style of play, the way his teams play. Let's see. Will he be able to deliver it? We heard a lot of that around Sarri. Remember Sarri joining you? Oh, Sarri ball's coming. Woo! If that was Sarri ball, please, no thank you. Take it away. Take it away. So let's see. Hopefully he can translate that to the team. There's been talk about additions, okay? And talks and rumors about him wanting to revamp the midfield immediately. And the names that come up for Spalletti that he would want to see at Juve, Fratesi, Zelensky, or Fagioli are the three names immediately coming back as targets potentially to revamp the midfield. That's a pretty lackluster list. To revamp. A revamp? An addition? Any of those guys really strike you as, yeah, you know what? Bring them in?
No, no. And I mean, the worst part is we bring in Fagioli. We had Fagioli. We had him. And then we just let him go. So that's really frustrating for me. And another name that I saw floated around, obviously, I saw Juve's, our account, all Juve cast posted about Verratti. I'm not really keen on that name. Somebody tried to come in the comments. I saw...
Hey, whoa! What are you doing, killing segues, man? What are we doing here? You just killed a segue into Verratti.
Oh shit!
Oh, Cliff.
See, I'm still trying to find my way back into the show. I'm still trying to find.
He's cutting to the chase.
Yeah, he's cutting to it. Well, we might as well get into it now. Verratti rumors. Go ahead, Cliff.
I think I blew up the show now. I'm not about it. Somebody tried to make the point that it's similar to Pirlo. Let's be very, very clear when we speak about this. He's 2 years removed from what Pirlo's age was when he made that move. Verratti is coming off a much significantly lower rated stint. With all due respect to the club he's at, I think in Qatar. Let's be honest, the league, the team is not up to snuff to where Pirlo was at AC Milan prior to Juventus. There's levels. He's older. He's not at a higher level of competition that Pirlo was at. And let's be honest, he's not Andrea Pirlo. So I don't see that move happening. I don't see it being feasible. It makes no sense to me in terms of what Juve needs right at this moment.
Paulo, midfielder list, if you want to touch on those names, but then Verratti.
That list sounds like a Gazzetta dello Sport list. It sounds like somebody having a poke at us.
It was Verratti, not Gazzetta, by the way.
No, I know. It just feels like
I get you.
Verratti's a great player. If we want an old guy like a De Bruyne who's not as old, like a Modric who is a grandfather, I can see Verratti at a low price coming in and being a personality for this team, a veteran presence. I think in this Serie A, you could put him in the right circumstances with the right people around him to do the running and get something out of that opportunity. He's a good player. I've always liked Verratti. So I think if it's Verratti or nothing, and you're not spending 6-8 million on him, then why not put him in there to give the team a bit of volume and a bit of experience in a situation where I think some of these teams get this experience working right for them.
Yeah, if I'm talking about Verratti, first and foremost, I've always loved Verratti, and he's a class midfielder. There's no doubt about that. He has concerns. Obviously, I would like to not pick him up 2 years out there, playing out there, and nobody really seeing him or noticing how he's doing, if at all. What's his condition like? He did have injury issues as well, so he's got like a bit of a nasty history there in staying healthy. And in 24-25, 55 days out, and the season so quick to start. He's already missed 3 games and been out for 9 days. He's got some injury issues there. For me, you do also need some experience, and I mean, what does he do if he walks into this midfield? Even knowing where he's been and whatever, I mean, God damn it, he's still probably easily the most talented out of the bunch if he walks in. Even at 32, even whatever, even if he walks in right now on this day, he's probably your best midfielder.
Really?
If he's fit.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
You know, if he's fit, he's probably walking. He's probably your best midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, to jump in on this, I think if you were to bring him in, like Paolo said, needs to be at a low price, I would go loan with option.
The terms will always dictate whether or not you should take that stab or not, right? Because there's concerns there for sure. But if this guy, if the conditions are good, you know, and everybody knew you'd be taking a risk with De Bruyne for his health too. And look what happened. The dude took a PK and blew up. So you know that there's a little bit of a risk there, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be, is it worth it to you? Do we have the luxury to take that shot? That's where the terms come into the play. Because for me, you can't look at Verratti as a centerpiece. Verratti would have to be like, hey, we have this chunk here. We could take a stab at it. We might have some injury things. He would have to be like almost the bubble boy around Juventus, and you'd have to like protect this guy, workload management, everything. Are we there where we could take that strike? That would depend on a lot of other things. So if they're even talking about January, what are your options? That's where I would have to be. What are our options and alternatives?
That's what I was thinking, Bert. Xhaka. Remember we talked about Xhaka being there, and there's a guy who would have been a nice addition. So to your point, what are the options if it's him or someone else if you're going to go there? Sorry, Cliff, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good, Paolo. I was going to say, like, if this is 2 years ago and he's coming off the PSG stint, this is a no-brainer for me. Because I think in my perfect midfielder, if you're playing a 3, you have Locatelli at the DM, you have Thuram, who's the box-to-box, and then you have Verratti, who's dictating the pace of play and holding possession in the midfield and advancing things forward. If this is 2 years ago, this is the perfect 3-man midfield that I would run.
But of course, but a lot changes in 2 years. He's 30 years old. He's still at PSG, still playing that. That's the whole part that makes people.
And that's my point. This is, in my opinion, this is a stretch. With the competition he's been playing against, we don't know the Verratti that we're getting. At least with the Napoli situation, you know the Kevin De Bruyne you're getting. He was still performing at a high level at a Manchester City despite the injury concerns. So that's the only thing that's holding me back is I haven't seen Verratti in 2 years. So I don't know what he looks like. So I can't confidently say, I'm going to bring him in. But that's just me.
I know. But that's the thing, though. You can't even talk on it. I can barely talk it because I haven't seen him play in the 2 years he's been gone. So he might still be doing Verratti things controlling, dictating play, being almost impossible to take the ball from. He might be doing all those things, and all those things would help. But yeah, when we talk about experience and this team, man, that guy's got some serious experience. And we talked about Xhaka, that the guy left on 13 million or something like that. That's a guy I would have taken in a heartbeat. We talked about sometimes needing a prick too on this team, and somebody that's hard-nosed that would give other teams a problem lining up against. That's a guy that plays a game on an edge that I was like, why would we not even think about it or look at it? So Verratti is one of those things that are we in that mode where we can actually take a look at that? Are we also in a mode to ignore it if it becomes a possibility? Depends where you stand on it, right? But it's an interesting one to see. But we've got plenty of time before we start worrying about that. Really, when it comes down to Spalletti, it's the guys he has in-house right now and getting the most out of them. We're going to take a look at the Cremonese match. Reminder, everybody, get those likes up, all right? We've got Storm the Barns, too, already firing in there, and we'll tackle it. We're going to take a look at Cremonese and Juventus. So, for Cremonese, man, strong positive start for them. Let's be serious. Well above the drop zone, making some noise early that nobody expected to see out of Cremonese. All their games pretty much tight, outside of one that got away from them big time against Merda. But they're pretty compact defensively, and they work from there. That's their MO. We want to be hard-nosed. They want to fight hard and create problems and try and hit you back. And they made a interesting little addition there with Vardy that came out of the blue as well, that partnered up top there with Bonazzoli could be, giving some teams some issues. And they're just an interesting team. And when you look at their coach, holy smokes, that guy is like the prototypical Serie A journeyman of coaches there in Nicola. And he's been absolutely everywhere. I think he's been fired more times than I don't even know, but it's just crazy. It seems to be working out for him so far. And then you have the complete flip side, Spalletti walking in for the first time. We do come off a victory, okay, the 2-1 win. And now it's like you got to keep it rolling. Spalletti's in. What does he do with lineup? What does he do with everything? Well, let's take a look at some of these projected lineups. So this is what we're expected to see when you look at Cremonese. Orero, the old Juve man, in goal. The big farm boy, Baschirotto there. Holy smokes. Back three, you got Bondo kind of making a diamond shape in the back there. Mussolini, Barbieri, Van de Puttapiero, and then Bonazzoli and Vardy up top. So, again, this shape, the way it's listed here, could be a couple different manners. We'll see ultimately what they go. But defensively, make no mistake about it, you will have very little room in the middle of the pitch. And it'll be interesting to see. Spalletti literally a day of training before going into this game. I don't think you're going to see anything, drastic in terms of what we're doing compared to what was happening before. And if you look at our projected lineup, this is what Spalletti apparently is set to go out there with. He's gonna stick with the 3-man back line for this match against Cremonese. It's gonna be Kalulu, Rugani, and Gatti. Gatti on the left center back role. Kelly is out and Yildiz is out. So that's kind of why as well, everybody. So precautionary reasons for Yildiz, workload management, and then a little bit of something going on with Kelly, but they don't think it's anything to be too concerned with. And the guy's played every minute so far. So even if fit, you got to look at giving him a break. We've got Champions League coming up midweek as well. Cambiaso, McKennie, Locatelli, Cope Miners, Kostic, Vlahovic, Openda up top. So let's kick this one off with Paolo. What do you think about that lineup? What do you think about Spalletti approaching this game, sticking with the 3-man backline for this match? What are your thoughts?
Is Gatti and Kostic the new nightmare on the left side? I don't know, but he hasn't had any time to figure this out. And
Yeah.
as Juventini, we've been watching this team our whole lives. We've been watching these players the past several years. We've been watching them closely this year. So we spent all our time watching this team and thinking about this team and all the players day in, day out. Spalletti hasn't. He's been doing other things. So he doesn't have any luxury of background that we might have. I'm curious to see what he decides to put out there and why, with such little time and little with not much eyes on these guys. So we'll see. Uh, honestly, when we start being concerned that Kelly's out of the lineup, and I'm not anti-Kelly by any means, it shows our depth is something that scares us.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And Cliff, what do you think about that lineup and the 3-5-2 and the names that are on the sheet?
Yeah, just taking that at face value, it just shows that I think Spalletti wants to ease this team into his, style and into his formation. He doesn't want to just all of a sudden switch it and confuse the players. So he's sticking with this kind of similar formation to what Tudor was running, just to kind of, I guess, start implementing like his ideas into the team, but not fully changing everything and confusing these guys. I've always said I think Openda plays well in a two-man up front. I think him and Vlahovic will play well together in this setup. Kostic, I didn't watch the match on Wednesday, but he did well against Udinese. So I actually, and it's also his birthday, Kostic, so happy birthday to him, Aguri, on Juventus' birthday as well. So I have a feeling he will, we'll wait for the match to give my thoughts, but I think he'll fit well in that role. And I do think Cambiaso fits well on the right. I've been saying I want to see them experiment with him on the right a little bit more, so we'll see how that goes. We have Poop in the middle, so we'll see how he does. And then that back line just gives me, nightmares, to be honest.
I'm not so sure I agree with the sticking with the back three. I understand trying to keep it, pretty tame, like coming in on one day and whatnot, and it's more about the ideas, but I mean, geez. Gatti as a left center back, Kalulu as a left center back, like any way you slice it, and all three of those guys in there at the same time, like a back four, maybe split them up a bit, change it up, but not the be all end all. I'm surprised that, Amaretti didn't get into the lineup, and I thought he would utilize Amaretti based on what he likes to do. And the reason is because this game's probably going to be more, and that one training session is probably going to be more about just ideas and approach, if anything. Not really set up, not really a whole lot. And when we name guys that you think will probably get some decent looks out of Spalletti, you got two guys in Adzic and Miretti that are forgotten for different reasons. Miretti coming back into fitness and being available for the team, but Adzic seemingly being forgotten by Tudor and going with these very robust midfields that lack that little bit of extra if you're looking at offensive phase. So that's something that maybe could come. For this game here against Cremonese, well, you're pretty much matching up the exact same way. They have a variation of a 3-5-2. We have a variation of a 3-5-2. Matching up man for man, asking guys to win their battles and do their work. Now, one of the things that'll play to Juve's hands is the fact that Cremonese, despite all tight games and whatnot, really doesn't hold much possession at all. So Juve should be in control of the ball at least, and that's probably something that Spalletti's going to like. The big ticket item here, Spalletti is going to, one of the main things he's got to do is get this team to figure out how to cut the turnovers down. And that is going to be the biggest thing for Juventus in this game. If I'm looking at a key for them to succeed today, it's to be able to not only just control possession, but actually hold valuable possession without coughing it up at will. That is going to be the major key here against Cremonese, because that is how they are going to look to hit Juventus. They're going to flood that middle, force you into box outs on the flank and take it and then run. and they're going to look to get Bonazzoli and Vardy going and creating havoc at the back line. They know Juve's got to be looked at as suspect at the back. I mean, we have no confidence in calling clean sheets, and there's a reason for it. It's because we leak goals. And the majority of the opportunities that we surrender to teams literally come from turnovers. The keys to victory are the same every match, and that's because of what we've been seeing in our play. Spalletti's main thing, get these guys to cut the turnovers down. You guys agree with that? Do you have different keys to success for Juve in this one? Cliff and then Paulo?
No, I think you hit it on the head, Al. I think we just need to clean it up. We need to clean up the passing, clean up the turnovers. Like, I've only seen very few times us been able to just put together a couple strings of good quality passes and be able to progress it forward. I just want to be able to see, it doesn't need to be the prettiest football. We don't have to be able to play full on tiki-taka against opponents, but can we go from the back to the front and, string 3 or 4 good progressive passes together and be able to move the ball up the pitch, and make the other team have to work to get the ball back from us. So I think you hit on the head. Reduce turnovers, clean up the play, be able to get shots on goal. I just want to see more shots, be a little bit more aggressive. But before we get to Paulo, I do want to say to your shout about Miretti, as soon as Spalletti signed, I thought his eyes are probably lighting up that he's going to get an opportunity under Spalletti. I think we could see a rejuvenated Miretti underneath Spalletti. That was my little wordplay for the day, so I apologize.
Yeah, and Calogero saying that Miretti's going to get overlooked by Spalletti, so don't get excited about seeing. I'm not so sure there. I'm not so sure. Well, time will tell. But Paulo, any other keys to victory?
Yeah, watch out for Vardy. The Vardy party. This guy is fast. He's old and annoying, but he is relentless and he's incredibly fast.
They say that about Skanga.
When? Back in the Stone Age? Vardy's very fast. All they have to do is counter and send him, and he will torch that back line. He will get there really fast. He'll jeopardize Di Gregorio if he's not careful with his feet. So number one, watch out for Vardy. He will torch you. He's incredibly fast and he's wily and he can put the ball in one-on-one very easily. That's my immediate concern. I can see Vardy scoring in 5 minutes and I hope it doesn't happen, but that's my first concern. The second thing is, to Cliff's point, he made a great point. We haven't been able to string passes together. I get really annoyed that we stretch the field and everybody runs downfield and waits for Kelly to send it, Gatti to send it, or whatnot. We have to stay more compact. We have to string together passes, and we have to do 2 things, and I hope Spalletti brings this. Number one is pass sooner. We stand there and look around and everybody sets up and stands there and everybody on the field watching the one ball holder to see where they're going to pass to. We have to pass quickly and regularly and not stand on the ball. And then we also have to move without the ball. You don't see us moving to open spaces, coming, being open, arriving for the pass to receive it. You see people go downfield and wait. So we have to string together passes quickly, and we have to move without the ball tightly to be available. If we can do those 2 things, we will have that possession mean something. Otherwise, it's Vardy on counterattacks all day. We're fucked.
You hit one of the things spot on, which was one of my second keys for Juve, and that is something that we've been awful at. That's closing the gaps between the phases. Because when we do hit the attackers, the gap to the midfield is huge usually. And other times, they either bomb forward to close that gap, but the ball can't get there because they've taken off too soon. So then you're going route one, and you're just they can't find this healthy balance of progressing the ball but doing so as a unit while they're all still holding their positions down. So it's been awkward, it's been clunky in finding a connection steady between all 3 phases, and that's why we have seen very little fluid football, almost non-existent, because the gaps are tremendous from the back to the middle. Usually there's only one guy sitting there, and it's usually Locatelli, and the rest of the guys bomb forward. And it's like, man, we're not going to split an entire team every time and just find you guys. So they have to get in this rhythm, and everybody has to do their part. And when we do get to the back, and if they are all waiting to build up together, 9 times out of 10, nobody's fucking moving off the ball and they're just standing there waiting anyways. And then we're still stuck. So they really have to hone in on that. And one of the things from his club experience, we'll leave the Azzurri thing out of it. One of the things that Spalletti's always been really good at is that progression and these sequences and getting the attack rolling and finding fluid football. He had some really strong sides in Roma that played wonderful football. But I challenge everybody to just let's wait and see, because that team had a lot of skill. And it's a kind of this Sarri thing where everybody downplayed the guys around him and said, Sarri ball this, Sarri ball that. Might have been the guys. So let's see what he can actually bring and if those ideas can translate. But this has been a problem for Juve for some time now, is just getting that fluid football and just the gaps. Because Allegri 2.0 looked very similar to a lot of the things Tudor did. His idea in closing the gap from mid to attack was sending the midfielders very early. And it actually ended up in this broken play, very similar to kind of what we were seeing in this clunky, non-cohesive game. So they really have to hone in what happens in the midfield. And if your ideas immediately are January, I don't like it. So let's see what we could do with the guys we have. Cliff, you were going to add something.
Yeah. So two things also. I also can't see the chat, so if anybody's saying anything, I apologize that I'm not shouting
So
anything.
far, they've only said you look like a combination of Gatti and De Sciglio.
So how bad is my hairline receding?
Well, how good is it filling in?
He's back, man. Gatti's hair did an Undertaker, man. It just freaking sat right back up, and it's like, whoa, you're back in business. Juan Mata. Bucci still pulling for Juan Mata. They look like Juan Mata.
I almost went for Halloween as Juan Mata. I decided to get a 97 Juve kit and just went with an old school Juve vintage thing. So, but we'll leave that for another day. To my point that I was going to make is just the urgency and also dropping back in to receive the ball on those, to start those strings of passes. I want to see Coop demand the ball. I want to see him drop in and be like, give me the ball so we can start things up. That's what you want to see from these players, some sense of urgency. Like you said, Al, it can't just be Locatelli. And also, sorry, one more thing. Lucci always shits on McKennie. McKennie's not going to be that guy who's going to put in beautiful passes. He's just the disruptor. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Should we go look at that lineup again and maybe put Gatti as the second striker? And fucking break up that left side. Let's just get him up there already. Let's just...
Guys, is it me, or do our players look surprised when they get the ball?
Yeah,
we talk about the passing, and Cliff, you're on it, and Bert, you're on it too. We want to see crisp passing. We want to see quick passing. We want to see the ball moving forward and not ticky-taka, but we want to see tick-tacking up. Our guys look surprised when they get the ball. Almost like, oh, it's me, okay. And moving when you don't have the ball to be available is really important. I don't want to see Locatelli as the fifth defender. And if Coop comes and demands a ball, I'm going to be happy about that if he stays in the middle. They've got to figure this out because we have too many guys who look surprised when they get the ball, and it's brutal. They have to learn how to pass because otherwise they'll get turnovers because they haven't got used to passing to each other and passing to each other quickly, and then Vardy's on the run.
I'm at baby steps, man. I'm at can we put a pass that doesn't take 3 minutes to get to the other fucking guy you're trying to get it to?
God.
Bang, bang. Let's go. Now, in keeping up with this match, we got a little bit left before we hit Storm the Barn, all right? So, form, Cremonese, 3 draws, 1 win, 1 loss, last 5. Juve, 2 draws, 2 losses, 1 win. If you're looking at absentees, we talked about it. Keenan Yildiz out, Kelly out. We know about Cabal. We know about Bremer. Now, you get to Cremonese, Grassi, Sanabria, Montagna, all facing fitness tests to see where they will stand. It's kind of like day-to-day type situation they sit in, and then Colo-Colo is ruled out. Now, we'll look at the official that's going to be calling this one today. And speaking of officials, it's been a horror show in Italy, and it's not just Juve. It's actually been really, really bad. Really, really bad. If you are a fan of Serie A and watch the games outside of even Juve, you'll see that, like, it's just a disaster with officiating and VAR. It's just this insane lack of consistency. Everyone questioning what the point of VAR is. It's nasty. It's nasty. It's been an awful 9 opening matches for officials. And that's putting it lightly. And today, we got Daniele Chifi, who's been called Schiffi, okay? Because 116 appearances, he's got an average of 4 yellows per game, 30 reds, 31 PKs. You'll know exactly who this guy is once you see him. The last time he officiated one of our matches, it was our 1-0 victory over Genoa on August 31st. We will see him again today. Now, everything laid out and on the table. It's time to lay down our predictions. So, you've got final score, a tiebreaker, a bold call, chat. How are we feeling? It's our 128th birthday. Come on. Paolo, hit me with your prediction.
Oh, gosh. All right. Let's see if these clowns can step up on our birthday. 3-1.
Nice.
Dusan is going to get 2 and David 1.
Oh.
And I think Vardy's going to score in the first 5 minutes.
Oh. Okay. Wow. That's a bold one. Vardy in opening 5. Okay. Cliff?
Alrighty.
You're up?
I'm gonna stick with the 3 goals, but I think we're gonna be leaking goals with this back line. I'm gonna go 3-2, Juve. It's gonna be a thriller, that's for sure. My tiebreaker will be I'm gonna go Openda 1. I know I'm gonna keep giving Openda a goal. And then I'm gonna go Vlahovic a goal, and then I'm gonna go McKennie a goal. I think McKennie gets a goal. And then my bold prediction is Kostic is gonna be man of the match. On his birthday. I'm gonna go a little bit
Let's
crazy.
go.
Guys,
Bert,
my
get your
villains,
Kostic jersey. Bert's gotta get
my villain arc is on watch with Kostic getting these starts and Spalletti now entering Juve. I could go down a nasty path, but no, I won't do it. 128th birthday. Juve is going to get the victory, I will call today. I am going to go... I'm not confident in calling clean sheets, so I'm not going to do it today. I kind of want to, though, because maybe the lack of confidence will get them to do it, and maybe they'll surprise us, but I'll say Cremonese scores 1. I'm going to say that... I don't know how confident I am in us bagging 3, but I'll give us 2, and I'll say Openda gets one of them, and I'm going to say that the second one will actually come from one of the midfielders, and I'm gonna call a Colt Miners goal for the game winner. So I'm gonna go 2-1, Colt Miners with the game winner for Juve. That's a bold call. I mean, we've seen how it's going, So that's my bold call, Coop winner, and Openda. Will he Openda scoring? We'll see. We got...
If he shoots.
Yeah. He's got to shoot to score. For God's sakes, shoot. Mark's going a 2-2 or a 1-1 draw. Ryan, 1-0 to Juve. David, 2-0. Gio, 2-0. They're going clean sheets. Trem, 2-1. Dusan. And Chico, PK for the Dusan goal. Well, we might get a PK. We needed 2 PKs against Udinese there. One for the opening goal for Juve, and then the third by Yildiz. Ryan, 1-0 Juve. 4-1 Juve win. Gatti and Openda score. We get one PK. Ooh, a lot of goals today. 3-1 Juve victory. All right, all right. 3-2 Juventus. Dusan PK. Cope Miners free kick. And a David tap-in. Let's go. Let's go.
Like that.
Need these guys to start bagging goals. Skanga's going with a 2-1 victory, so he's on the same train as me. So now all of a sudden I'm not liking my prediction. I was feeling good about it until I see Skanga's on the same side. He's kind of like remember A Bronx Tale, the movie Mush? You had Eddie Mush. Yeah, Skanga's kind of like Mush, you know. So here we go, 1-1. No, Skanga, I'm with you. I'm with you. Look at all these. 3-1 Juve, 2-1 Juve, 3-1. Cole's going 5-1 Juve. The espresso is amazing where you're at, my friend, and I need some of that. I love it. I love it. Storm the Barn. We're going to get to Storm the Barn and have some fun. First, I have Idiot of the Week. Should be no surprise who gets Idiot of the Week. And we're going to go with this guy.
Oh my
This
God.
guy ranks himself. Are you serious? So you could see you got Milito. You have Batistuta, one of my all-time favorites. Batistuta, body goal. Crespo. Lautaro. Tevez at 5. Aguero at 6. Is this guy for real?
He's on crack.
No shot, man.
Dude, Tevez-
No shot. No shot. And what a punchable face. Gotta say that. Like, gee, if there was ever, like, he's got to be up there for most punchable face in Serie A. Like, what an
there's a
idiot.
big
This
lineup.
pineapple head never stops, man. Number 4. Are
Idiot.
you kidding me? Jesus. Ahead of Tevez and Aguero? No shot, dude.
Think about
No
how-
shot.
guys were. I mean, that's crazy.
Somebody lied to this guy.
Yeah.
At some point, somebody lied to this guy. Lautaro.
It was his mother. His mother said he was special.
Bless the mothers out there, but goddamn, don't lie to your kids like that, okay? Don't lie to your kids like that. Dusan hype is back. If Spalletti plays his classic 4-3-3 or 4-5-1, I think Jonathan David is a better striker option for us. Better technically and could score more. Do you guys agree? I said this, and I've been saying this for a while. If you go one man up top, it's clear as day who the guy has to be, and it's David. Unless you can get the best out of... If you don't need that position in your build-up play, then Vlahovic right now, if he can bring what he brought against Udinese with that kind of mindset and that approach, game in, game out, and you don't need that position in your build-up, then yeah, you could fly at it and you got yourself a little bit of a challenge. Openda, for me, needs to have others with him. Like, I don't see him as an out-and-out true 9. Like, no. David can lead the line, and he's your best if you need that position in your build-up play, and you're banking on that to kind of connect the dots. That's how I feel if I'm looking at this. I still think he needs to find something that's a 2-striker set based on the players we have. That's just me. What do you think?
Paolo, you want this one first?
Go ahead.
Okay. I hate to say I agree with Al, but I agree with Al. Even though I'm not a big David guy, you're right. I mean, in this setup, he's probably the okay. Calm down, calm down. In this
Come
setup,
over to the dark side, buddy. It's awesome over here.
I think in this setup, David makes the most sense from a tactical standpoint. I mean, Vlahovic, I think, is our most informed striker right now, which isn't really saying much. But I think in this setup, like you said, if you don't need that, position, like you said, Al, I think David provides the best in a 3-man up front, isolated up there. Vlahovic will play better with, I think, like I said today, I think Openda and him will play together as a duo up top. But if it's a single player up there, I think David probably thrives the most.
Yeah. I'm going to just bring this in real quick before we get to Paulo. Mark saying, my God, you still believe that David is a top striker. Please stop dreaming. Mark, I'm going to just lay this on the line for you right now. Do you know what Jonathan David is so far? So far, he's another guy that's come to Juve that isn't succeeding. It's a trend, my friend. It's a trend. Jonathan David doesn't put up numbers up there with incredible strikers while being at a far weaker side and putting up strong Champions League numbers while at that side, rivaling some of the best in the game. And then all of a sudden just, he ain't good enough or nothing's right about him. He's awful. Guys, so far, he's another player shitting the bed while joining Juve. And it's a trend that needs to stop. We need to start realizing that the list is getting longer.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the water in Turin, everybody. Douglas Luiz, not to my surprise, starting to find form again. Starting to look like the Douglas Luiz who he was before coming here. Do you want to go over the names of guys that are doing very well after leaving Juve? There's a trend there, everybody. There's a trend. I'm just saying. We got to start getting it right. Your thoughts on the striker question there at Storm the Barn there, Paulo?
I think David's struggling, and it's a
for
problem
sure.
for me. He's not looking very good. He does need help up there. I think his build up and his sitting back and helping build up is a good thing. It's a quality he does bring. It's also an out for him to not be relied on to put the ball in the net, in my opinion. So I think, I'm not saying he's hiding right now, but he's struggling, and it's really not good. As arrogant and annoying as Dusan can be, I think he's your only guy right now. Openda can't shoot. He's decided he wants to walk the ball in, so he's got to wake the fuck up. David is hiding, and he's got to get his shit together. And Dusan, like I said, as annoying as he can be, he is the one guy who is confident enough to at least believe he can score. And right now we need somebody who can believe they can do the job, and he's the only guy right now. I put him for 16 goals at the beginning of the season. I don't have a Dusan shirt, but we need him, and he's the only one who thinks he can do the job right now.
I think you need to, honestly, I think it's a two-striker set for this team, man, to get those guys going. I think when you... I
have
think
no problem with that either.
I think they're too easily isolated when we play one. And that seems to ruin all of them. Because even Vlahovic, it gives him a reprieve from that physical battle game the whole way through. It gives him a little bit of reprieve because it splits the attention that the defenders are divvying up to the guys. Jonathan David, holy shit, I can't think of before that game against Lazio when he slipped through. We were playing the two guys at the top. I can't think of a time before that where we sent him through on a run like that and actually got the attempt on goal like that. It's been a long time since we've seen that. But that also starts because you've got another guy occupying space, dividing up that line. And it just, if you want to get these guys rolling, you're going to have to go with a couple at the top. I think Spalletti's true 4-3-3, it might not really work. And if you're looking back to Napoli's Scudetto victory, Osimhen plays that spot a hell of a lot different than any of the guys we have. And he's got way different traits. You can get away with a guy like that playing Sol because of his pace, and he still has the strength. And technically, he's just as good as, he's better than Vlahovic technically on the ball and the dribbling. He's way more coordinated than Openda. It wouldn't even be a race with David if you're talking pace-wise and everything. It's a night and day difference when you have a guy like that to play the out-and-out 9. So if I'm looking at the guys we have here, go with two.
And Bert, you have so many forwards. At some point, you got to just use them
Yeah.
and see if you can make it work.
Yeah. And then look in your rotations on what the game calls for. That's one of the things where Spalletti's, this is the first game. It might come down to it because all of Cremonese's games outside of one have been tight. This could be a game where Spalletti, you give him the pass because it's been one training session or whatnot, but this is where you look to that experience to maybe pull the strings and some in-game adjustments, and that's where he could show his value immediately, even in one game. How does he pull the strings with the guys that are coming off the bench in this game? That might be a key here today. Let's see. Let's see. We're going to keep things rolling. If you are Ottolini and you come to you with what looks like a serious management now, don't you like Spalletti as your coach 1/3 into the season? I think he is okay. I mean, Ottolini he was with Juve at one point, and now he's kind of coming back and everything. And I think for him, I don't know, he's being literally like run out of Genoa with pitchforks by the fan base for one of the weakest mercados that they thought never backed their coach Vieira whatsoever. Said some goodbyes, never replaced it, whatever. So like he's literally being run out of town. To land at Juve, he should feel really good, despite who the hell the coach is. Let's be serious. A lot of fans are like, Ottolini, really? For sporting director? Again, if you were thinking the bigger names and everything like that, and remember, we had a shot. We had a shot at a pretty solid one that took off to Saudi Arabia. And that tells me I take it this way. I'm not saying you all have to take it that way. It's Camoli's show.
Agreed.
And a bigger name. I don't think he was ever looking for that.
No, he wants to be the big dick.
That's how I'm taking it. That's how I'm taking it. It's Camoli's show. It's Camoli's world. We're living in it.
Yep.
He is the long dick of the law in his eyes. So there we go.
The cock blocker.
Chris, by the way, congratulations on the kit victory, winning that kit, and everybody. November's kit giveaway. I told you. We're going back to the home, brand new home. Keenan Yildiz on the back. You're all in because you're subscribed. It pays to subscribe. Kit giveaways every month. And the Legends memberships. Legend status and memberships. This is your baby for November.
Wow.
Hey, right, Al? That's mine.
Oh,
Look at that.
God damn it. Who loves you, Army? Who loves you? Now, Chris says, am I the only one that feels that this summer mercato was made for a 4-3-3 formation? It was maybe already the plan to change Tudor with Spalletti made in the summer if shit hit the fan. Oh my God.
No.
There's a lot to dissect. I mean, I like to think that we don't go into things with plans of it deteriorating immediately, and planning a mercado for a coach that you don't have is crazy because we could have not had that option. So, no, I can't.
And I don't think we're that organized.
Yeah, for sure. Like, these guys aren't planning that far ahead either. Man, Juve's still trying to figure out what they're going to serve the guys at the cafe on a day-to-day basis, man. They don't have that mapped out even by the week. Come on. No, I would definitely not put them that far ahead. Do we need a boost of new players in the winter mercado without selling any players? If yes, who would you get, taking in consideration our finances? What's the priority here for everybody? Like, everyone's talking midfield. I'm like a little bit more towards the back still. I still want a center back, a good, strong center back.
Yeah.
If there's one available. January shopping sucks, everybody. If you're going into a January looking to boost your team, you've already failed 1,000%.
And it ain't cheap.
Yeah. January shopping sucks.
I think we need to see what Spalletti wants to do and what opportunities or weaknesses his planning shows us. We still need a replacement for Bremer. I'm really scared about Bremer's future, and I love the guy. So I'm really worried about that. I'd like to get a solid center back, pay whatever it is, 50, 60, whatever million it is to get him now or in the summer and have him for the next 3, 4 years, 5 years. We need that right away, regardless of whatever else happens on the pitch. And then if you get a Verratti in there to kind of add a bit of dimension, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But we have no money, apparently, right?
Yeah, we don't have any money. I was going to say, I think I agree with Al that center back's a priority. It's funny enough, I think the center back that I would actually be looking at would be Bashirotto. I really like him as a player. I think he fits that like similar mold as Bremer, a very strong center back. Yeah, I mean, dude's like built like a shit brick house. It's insane. And like the thing is, you don't have to break the bank for a player like that that's at Cremonese. So it's like, I know we want like a sexier name, but like,
hold on a second. Did you say a shit brick house?
Shit brick house. Yeah, have you never heard of that?
It's a brick shit house, buddy.
Same thing.
A shit brick house? That's disgusting. Yeah. It's a brick shit house.
But that's our guy.
I need more espresso. A brick shit house. Apologies for the word mess.
Oh my god, that was gold. I was like, a shit brick house? What? That's gold. That's gold. But you're right. He's a unit.
I mean, that's like the type of player you need. You need the enforcer like that who has a brain. Because Gatti is the enforcer that doesn't have a brain. He's like the
hey.
Scarecrow.
The hair was taking fucking brain cells out too as it was falling out, and now he's restored it. He'll be back.
Exactly. Bold claim. I think he's gonna be better.
And you go easy with one of our leading goal scorers, buddy, because he might finish the season as top goal scorer.
I know that's the really depressing part. But yeah, that would be the name that I'd look at.
Yeah.
Because you could under 50 mil, and he would bring that quality that you need in the center back position and the rotation.
It's so crazy how things can work out with any signing. And I know that I see the next question already coming in from Mark on speaking to David and Openda. But here's for reference, everybody. Has anybody been tracking Comuzzo at all? Because he was a name that was thrown out, and it was like next to Leone, and it was next to Golpola, etc. And it's like, Comuzzo, you got to get one of these guys. Comuzzo looks like absolute dog shit this season. The drop from a season to one to the next is tremendous. It goes to show you things can go like that in the world of football, man. Like, form is just, you can't take it for granted, and it's super sketchy when you're trying to bank on guys and you're trying to make these decisions, and everybody sees things here and there that they kind of cling to. And naturally, even as fans, you have traits in players that you seem to like more than others, and it tends to guide you in liking certain players more than others. This question, you were always in favor of Jonathan David signing. Are you still in agreement that we did good by signing David and Openda? Don't throw Openda into the mix for me. And I stand behind the Jonathan David signing. The Openda one I didn't really quite get, but I still, in case anybody's been following, it's still a huge gray area as to what makes it obligation for Openda. People said avoiding relegation. Everybody associated with Juve, if they ever applied that in a contract, needs to get the sack and get the fuck out. If you ever applied that in a contract. Because that's fucking embarrassing. Period. That's where I stand on that. But we're hearing top 10, which is also embarrassing. But Openda's a weird one. Because that many in attack wasn't really my priority. They avoided my priority, which was the back line. David, I stand firm. It's a good signing. And I'm still on a low scale of worried. And the reason I am is because what I've been saying and what I said earlier in reference to one of your comments, Mark, was that he's just another player that isn't matching the level he was at prior to coming to Juve. And do we have only Jonathan David that isn't delivering? Is it only Openda that isn't? No. No. The list goes on and on. Cambiaso is a name that some put up there as world class. One of the best in the world on his day. But shit, that day is few and far between. That's why I'm not worried. And we need to start looking at this team as a whole. Otherwise, take your pick on individuals you want to slam. That's where I'm at. I still stand firm. On a free signing, you make that signing. Absolutely. Guys?
I think what's weird about Openda is that I always feel like he came in at the last second as a response to Kolomuani. And I think generally we all thought Kolomuani was a Juve. Like we thought he was going to be one of ours. We thought he would get signed eventually. And he seemed to fit. And he offers something that none of our signings do. So I think for me, I have a bit of disappointment that they couldn't figure that out. And so that biases me towards negatively a little bit towards Openda. But David was, they were tough on the numbers. They got the numbers down. David's a solid player. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, to that point, I wasn't as high on David as Al was, but like you said, for the price you had to pay for him, it's a no-brainer. With just like the form he's had, the quality he's had at Lille, he's an insanely talented striker. And to Paolo's point, Openda was a quick response to a quickly deteriorating Kolomuani situation, which was really unfortunate because I think we all wanted him. We loved how he played. He brought something that Juve needed. I still stand firm, though, to what Al said. You have top-tier forwards on this team across the board. Yildiz, Vlahovic, David, Openda, and Chico. These are top forwards that any team in the world right now would love to have on their team. All different qualities, all extremely talented. Juve is the sole constant of this formula. All of these players are not performing, with the exception of Yildiz and I guess Conceição. At Juve, like look at Moise Kean. Juve is doing phenomenal at Fiorentina. So I think we need to put two and two together that it's not all on these players. They are talented. There is a reason they're not performing at Juve, and we just need to figure out what that is. Maybe Spalletti is the key to figuring that out and unlocking these players. But we can't just kid ourselves and say, oh, these players are shit. They're not shit. They are very high-quality players. Yeah. Just like at other teams.
I can't watch this keep happening over and over and over and just be like, it's all the guys we sign. No. These guys are... Nico Gonzalez looks a different guy at Atletico, for God's sakes. No. We ran him out of town. It's like
and replaced him
all
with Mario.
These guys. Moise Kean was a beast under Palladino. They sacked Palladino. By the way, they're one of 4 teams winless, and they're sitting in relegation zone right now, Fiorentina. Look, it can't be this many guys all the time and every single player we sign. There's something going on there. Yeah. Like, we got to figure it out. You have, to Cliff's point, spot on. Rival fans, everybody that analyzes Serie A, outside of the Italian league, they're like, this attack is insane. You wouldn't know when you watch us play. But everybody on paper is like, that attack is legit. It's up to us to figure it out, not just say,
it's the middle.
That's it. These guys aren't good enough. What?
I think it's the middle, Bert. We need to get the middle of the field figured out.
Yeah.
Because when Loca was spraying those balls, because Loca can find anybody. that's one thing you have to activate. But the middle of the field is our biggest weakness. We seem to provide the ball to these forwards when we're at the edges of the box, as opposed to on our way to the top of the box, providing those long balls in, those stringing passes, those seeking passes. The guys who are doing well are guys who are making it up on their own. The Conceiçãos, the Yildiz, they're making something out of nothing, and that's why they're looking great and looking positive as strikers. These guys like Openda and Vlahovic to some extent, and David, they're not finding stuff on their own. They have to be provided, and the middle is not providing for these players. So we have to figure out the middle still.
Yeah,
We'll see what Spalletti does with that.
I would agree with that. What did we dress up as last night? Storm the barn. Oh, Cliff, I think you already told us what you dressed up as.
Yeah, I did 96, 97 Juve kit with the Sony logo.
Beautiful.
Tucked in kit. I have the long socks. I wore shin guards. I wore sambas. So I look like an old school baller.
Nice, nice. Paulo, were you dressed up while watching the Jays game on the projector there?
Yeah, I had an old Jason costume. So I had the coveralls,
Nice.
the goalie mask, which I used to wear for street hockey, and I had a hatchet stuck in it and whatever. So I was doing the Jason thing for a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Scariest costume I could think of, I was Zabina. There you go, everybody. Good old Zabina. Actually, I wore the Smashed Pumpkin Juve kit out there last night just because. And you know what's funny?
Nice choice.
I put that kit on. It gets like the biggest reaction of all the fucking. And I'm like, guys, everybody loves that kit. Like as streetwear, you wear it out. People go nuts for like. They're like, man, that is so cool. And I'm like,
It's so
you
ugly.
think so?
It's so ugly.
It's crazy. People just love it. It always gets a reaction. Blows me away. Now, are we entering the turning point? Comoli, Modesto, Ottolini, Chiellini, now hiring Spalletti. We are starting to get good competence in the board, and now we have an established, successful coach. Who wants to tackle that one? Are we finally at the turning point?
Yeah, I'll hit that. I think it's too early to tell. I think we need to see one match under Spalletti first before we really say we're at the turning point. We need to win a match under Spalletti to see if we're at the turning point. We need to officially get Ottolini in before we say we're at the turning point. I think we need to wait till everything is actually like put together. We need to see this team like as a whole. We need to see Ottolini in, Spalletti a couple matches in, and then I think I need to make that decision once that happens.
All right, all right. And Paulo, your thoughts?
I think something's going to happen in the summer. And I have this creepy feeling that this year is going to be really awkward. And I think this summer we're going to see a shift, a change of some kind. So I don't know what to make of this season. I think it's going to be full of strange surprises, but we're not turning anything. I think we're just in a weird flux.
If I'm looking at this, I would like to hope that we are entering the turning point. We need something to stick. We need something to hit. But this is the first time since the board was dismantled that we actually have a group. Because if you go back to when it actually went down, some of the names that stuck around, like Manna, Cherubini, etc., they were literally only here for a bit, and that was part of the cleanup for the next guy. But then the next guy took over, and there was no group anymore. Because that's what Giuntoli was. Like, Giuntoli had nobody to go back to. He had nobody to bounce off of. He had guys that have no fucking clue. Guys that can't stay awake for the fucking game. That's who he has to fall back on. So this is the first time we actually have this group. And I would like to think that, yes, this is a turning point. People see it differently, and people are like, well, no, you almost have too many cooks in the kitchen. That depends on the dynamics of how everything runs and operates. That's up to them. But if you had to pick a setup, would you want one lone guy surrounded by finance guys, or would you want a Comoli who's held every position known to man around the game? Would you want Ottolini, who's got history with your club, that has been a sporting director, albeit at Genoa, etc.? Would you want Modesto, who's got a ton of experience, also heavily in scouting? Would you want Chiellini involved, who is very business savvy, but also has incredible knowledge of players at all levels in Italy that nobody really knows about? I would pick that route every day and twice on Sunday. So are we entering the turning point? That's up for them to accomplish that and us being able to call it a turning point. We are all hoping for that. Fingers crossed. Let's go. But this is a much better idea than what's happened previously. And I think no matter any skepticism or any personal feelings and thoughts, we have to all agree this is a much better mold than what we've seen. Right? We'd have to agree that this is the right approach, at least from structure, from an organizational standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether it's a turning point, hey, hopefully. Spalletti said that Cope is a passing player, not a final third player, but Juve bought him to add goals. Does that make the buy of Cope Miners a bad choice? So far, his performances make it a bad choice. Cope Miners is really running out of anything to say otherwise. And it kills me because this guy, again, he's on the list of being solid for years consecutively. How in the hell? You're telling me only Gasperini knows how to use this fucking player? Like, what? So Spalletti's got some thoughts and some ideas. I hope they translate, because otherwise, this guy's got nowhere left to go. You know? And it's going to hurt us big time financially for at least a year before you can move him. If you don't want to take a hit. If you're willing to take a hit, you can move him. But it ain't going to be pretty. And he might not agree to the teams that come in based on his form. Good luck, Spalletti. Welcome to Juve. What else can you say?
Sort out the middle, you sort out Coop.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say to that.
Top priorities, man, for Spalletti is fucking clean it up and get some of these guys rolling. Get some of these guys moving in the right direction. How confident are we that he'll do it? The experienced guy. I'd hope Spalletti can do it. I didn't want Spalletti initially, but damn, has he won my heart. Likeable guy. I can't lie. Shakespeare himself. God damn it, you're falling for that. You're falling for that Spalletti thing. Listen. Everybody knows where I stand. I don't like the guy, but I will back him wholeheartedly as coach of Juve. That's the decision. That's the route they were going. He has my full backing. But I don't fall for his nonsensical words and
he's cheeky.
Philosophy. The
Very
Riddler,
cheeky.
man. I guarantee you he was the Riddler for Halloween, because he is him naturally. Back him wholeheartedly. There's a lot of people that have done this, though. I've noticed. Even in the chats here on shows, even on social media, there's a lot of Juventini that were against it that are now like, you know what? I'm with it. I could see it.
Yeah.
It's not so much his words. I don't really care about the Shakespeare stuff, but I'll tell you what. I don't know if you all caught this, but there was blurbs about some of the immediate changes coming. No cell phones around the trade. Was that actually fucking happening? Like, you're showing up for work, you're showing up training, you got your phones with you in the locker room, like you got your phones with you, like around set, like what?
I would not
And of
be
course he
shocked.
brought up the PlayStation thing again, so those guys' ultimate teams are going to be taking a hit there in FC 26. But like, it's all business stuff, and I'm like, I've been saying it for a while, it feels like it's Club Med over there, but are you serious? Like, this is shit that it's taken this long and this many years of struggle that like you're still letting these guys do shit like that and act a certain way. So like in that respect, bravo Spalletti, because that shit should have been happening anyways.
Yeah.
You can't detach yourself from your phone. It's like, put that fucking thing away. Let's go. So in some regards, I could see why people are shifting. And then what did you guys make of the Perin interaction? Paolo, what'd you make of that?
Perrine's kind of annoying, honestly. When he flopped like a salmon and let that goal fly into the left side, I was done with him. During the I'm not a Perrine fan, and during the whole Mota saga, and I've never been a fan of Mota. Anybody who's watched the show knows that. He was on his phone all the time, stirring the pot, doing his social media stuff. Perrine's like this glamour queen. So when you have the Riddler with his charm meeting the glamour queen, and they shake hands, and it's like, oh, it's up to you. Oh, it's up to me. I'm at your disposal. Ugh. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. It's all nonsense. Perrine should be in the gym practicing his dives to the left and right post and not walking around in his fashion gear.
I'm more upset with Perrine passing that ball against Lazio when there's three guys standing right next to him in the box and we cough it up and then it comes back and it ends in your fucking goal. But listen, I just asked about the interaction. I opened up a can of worms there with Paolo and Perrine.
I think it's silly. I think it's nonsense. It's nothing. It's a nothing burger, man.
They took a lot out of that, and a lot of the fans that flipped and switched were like, oh, I love that response by Spalletti. I love that response. It's up to you guys, whatever. Cliff, how did you take anything out of the interaction?
It felt kind of cheesy, kind of felt scripted.
That's something I've not liked about Spalletti for so long. He's fake to me.
It feels very inauthentic, and I don't know who came up with the idea. I really hope to God it wasn't Spalletti, but like him being the Shakespearean that he is, he's probably like, let's do this great play where I say this, and then he says, we're at your disposal, and it just seems very scripted to me, and it just didn't really rub me the right way, and I'm just kind of like, get to work. I want to see training videos.
Didn't rub Perrine the right way either. Like, who feels a guy's jacket like that? He's just like, the whole thing was like just awkward and weird. So Spalletti's like in love with this guy's jacket. He's touched his jacket, whatever.
It's Armani.
And then, like, he's on a tour with Modesto. And then it's like, oh, yeah, Perrine's just like, okay, yeah, like, get away from me, man. Like, get your hands off me, you 66-year-old senile bastard. And then he's like, oh, how is everything okay? Like, probably asking about the tour you're on. And then Spalletti does this weird, like, he's sideways looking at him, and then he's like, oh, that's up to you guys. And I'm like, that's kind of a dog shit thing to do. And for me, it's like obviously he knows the cameras are on, and that's Spalletti trying to be Spalletti. And it's the Spalletti that has me feeling a certain way about him all these years because he's the same guy to me. I won't care if he brings the results, but it was stupid. I'm like, so Tudor just got sacked, and the whole narrative around everything is it's all players, 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 and that's him taking a little bit of a dig immediately, whatever. You don't need to stand on the player's side, but I think it's stupid, and I think he knew that the cameras were on and did it on purpose. And then in the presser, immediately the day after, to be like, oh, that's a joke. That's a shitty joke. No, own up to it. If you did it, own up to it, so that it's not just about the cameras. Anyways, I got to let that out because that's just me and Spalletti and my personal things with him.
Yeah, but you can thank the editor for that compilation and putting that in there because honestly, when I was watching that sequence, Spalletti wasn't saying very much. And I was kind of sitting there thinking, dude, you've been invited to the Taj Mahal of Italian soccer. This is the palace of Italian soccer, and you are in this beautiful grounds that has toilet paper and stuff like that. So I was expecting a little more grace out of Spalletti and appreciation for this beautiful environment that you are so lucky to be in this crumbling Serie A. And he didn't say anything. So
if I was Perrine, he's feeling my jacket and be like, yeah, you might have to you'll always have to wear a jacket around here, buddy. Okay? With that fucking tattoo. That would have been my comment and been like, you know what? You're going to need jackets every day, brother. Make sure we fucking deliver.
Well, what
Spalletti.
was
Anyways,
weird was that he didn't say much else, and I think the put in thing happened awkwardly, and they threw that in because it was something to put in, and they didn't have much. That's my opinion. I don't know.
get the creator labs out of the fucking building. Go do fucking shit that has nothing to do with the players and the coach. Fuck. Anyone else think this short deal for Spalletti just tells the bad eggs they can keep messing about and wait for a new gaffer in the summer? Oh, see, that's an interesting way and perspective to lay that question down, because I mentioned earlier that some fans are like, well, that's showing like little to no faith in Spalletti, literally an 8-month contract. But I never took it as letting the bad eggs feel they could still get away with murder. And I'll be quite honest, I don't think there's bad eggs. I think there's a few entitled guys, but I don't think there's true like locker room issues, like guys need to go specifically for the locker. I don't think that's the case. I just think there's some entitled fucking guys around this club. I'm not looking at that. I think the narrative is out there, and I think these guys have been dragged through the mud, and the players, they got jeered at halftime against Lazio. Guess what? I think it's going to be a short leash from the fan base at all the home games for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I also think the players are now, they're going to be held responsible. I think the fans are going to be more on the players than ever, because we've had this carousel of managers, and I think fans are just going to be like, hey, like, this is clearly not just a manager issue. We're going to hold you to a certain standard as well, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
So the players, I to this question, I think no, because I think the players should go with this, assuming that Spalletti will be the manager for the foreseeable future, and I don't think anybody is going to take for granted that a new manager's coming in or anything like that.
Yeah. Paulo, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think there's 3 phases that these players went through when they beat Udinese, and the number one of the 3 was guilt. I think they got the bounce because I think they felt guilty because Tudor was very good to them, and I think they felt a bit guilty that he was canned, so they played well. Number 2, I think they felt relief that, Tudor's gone, a new system, a new opportunity, and they played with more excitement and more relief. And then I think the third thing that they showed against Udinese was we're auditioning for the next coach. So the players, I think, will have an interesting season to prove themselves, and I think in the summer there's going to be a bunch of contracts that are going to be expiring, and I think next year's Juve is going to be considerably different than this year's, and I don't know in what way, but I think next year will be different.
Yeah. I think it's quite simple. And I laid it out once Tudor got sacked, and this needs to always be the message at Juve, but you're not in fucking control as a player of who we hire as a coach. He's your boss. You have a responsibility to do your fucking job, period. If these fucking players, if any of that shit is true about them and not getting on with a coach or whatever, when a coach has done nothing but baby, Tudor was good to them. Very good to them. That's why I'm not buying into the fact that there was this locker room distress or whatnot and an argument that gets leaked or whatever. Guess what? That shit always happens in teams. I don't really care about arguments. What I care about is guys being alienated, which was Motta was doing. He was alienating players. That's a whole different world. But the message needs to be the same for these guys. You're not in fucking control of who we hire and whatnot. And if he's doing his job, you do your job. Barring any insane circumstances, like the coach and players are viewed as one. We can't get rid of all of you in one shot. That's the message. That's why the coach loses his job. But you guys are right there with him. We just can't fucking get rid of all of you in one shot. And it might be harsh, and it might not be the pep talk those guys want to hear, but guess what? Sack up.
Yep.
You're at Juve. This isn't fucking Pescara.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that was rude. Pescara didn't do anything to you.
Fuck. Come on, Cliff. I got no sentiments for Pescara. Come on. They had Verratti, by the way, who we might sign.
Yeah. It's true.
Listen, you guys, we got more storm the barns and everything. We're going into this opening match, and it's the first one for Spalletti. I see RB Comps making a claim that if we don't deliver today, I'm not putting an ounce of course not. Why would anybody put an ounce of blame on Spalletti? It's the first game, one training session in. He's looking for answers.
What a strange game. What a strange game this is. Imagine that. You've been at the job for 2 days, and now you're taking a team to the pitch with all that pressure and expectation and, a disrupted fan base. What a strange game this is going to be. It's going to be really interesting to see Spalletti on the sideline and what happens or doesn't happen, who he picks, the formation, changes he makes, when does he sub. It'll be fascinating, honestly.
Yeah. It's got to be a victory. Talked about these next upcoming games. The Champions League one, a big one as well. Nobody's mentioned Champions League and Spalletti, and they made no...
And they didn't bring it up the other day either.
No. Focus on league, etc., but maximum intentions. Maximum intentions need to go in to Champions League as well with where we're sitting right now and everything. And we talked about the opening games. It is what it is. Don't worry so much about the standings now. A lot of football left to be played there, but he's got a short time frame to deal with, and it's a tricky one too. Cremonese, who's played very hard-nosed football, tough game. You're away from home. You will go into that without Yildiz, and to be honest, say what it is about Kelly. He's been one of our best defenders. He's been one of our best, and that says a lot, but I get it. But he has been. And you're going in without that. Gatti and Kostic on the left today. I know what I'm doing.
People love Juve. Look at Como and Lazio. Like, people want Juve right now, and that's really annoying. It's so insulting that they want to play us. They should not want to play us. But, yeah.
Godspeed. Good luck and Godspeed, Luciano. Okay? You need us. We need you. Let's hope that the partnership kicks off in the right way.
We've always said these players, we think they're good enough to do well in Serie A. I guess now we're going to find out if that's true or not with the new coach and how he sets them up and runs them.
Yeah. And the positivity that I brought today around Spalletti, okay, with some...
He's charming.
I bug about the philosophy. If he's wearing a short sleeve today, I'm going to fly out there and slap him, okay? No short sleeve on the bench, okay? Suit and tie Spalletti is what you'll probably get.
Yep.
With some of those necklaces. He's got 1 million necklaces there. Let's see, everybody. But it begins today on Juve's birthday. 128th birthday. Get the job done. Must be victory. You guys, watch along is in play today. 20 minutes before kickoff. Hope to see you all there. We're going to share in the live reactions on Spalletti's first match as bench boss of Juventus. Paolo, Cliff, absolute pleasure as always, fellas. Chat, you guys are the best. Drop a like before you sign off, and feel free to clip, share, do whatever. We thank you for all your support. All right? Take care. We'll talk to you in a few hours, 20 minutes before kickoff. Fino alla fine, Forza Juventus, and of course, Auguri Juventus on your 128th. Let's cap it off with victory. Ciao, ciao.